Hello, everyone. I would like to, express my sincere thanks to, to the subscribers, loyal subscribers who are trying to, follow all the postings that I have, right? When you are trying to take your YouTube channel seriously, having subscribers is really a challenge. Right? I started with 16 subscribers only, and now I do have 1,000 plus, almost 2,000 subscribers, and I'm so delighted with the subscribers, and of course with my friends who are helping me in raising the banner of my YouTube channel, right? So in response, I love and I'd like to say thank you to all of you guys, and from your effort of um, helping me in raising my subscribers population. I am trying to also to do some changes in video content. My programming videos will still continue. In fact, I have this video about C function programming. It's quite a technical topic in programming, and I tried to lower it down to the point that I will be able to meet the viewers. Right? And I did some, shifting of the content also. I added the video for jokes, right? Because I want you guys to sometimes laugh if you wanted to. Right? So flexible. No? Flexibility is actually the bottom line of all these things. And in this video, I will be discussing about another example of C programming. The my way of discussing is I love giving examples, and from the example I'll try to simulate it manually, and along the way I'll be sharing my techniques in analyzing. Okay, because as a programmer, it is quite important for us to know the behavior of our programs and to have an idea as to what is the possible screen output of this, or else you cannot have a correct program, right? So to start with, I am going to show you my notepad, right? And here we'll be creating programs to find the maximum and the minimum numbers between the two, right? Using functions. Okay, using functions. And we'll be asking from the user as to the two values, and then out from that two values we'll try to use some functions to filter and decide whether the maximum is at number one, or it's, variable number one, or the minimum value is at variable number two, right? So we will be doing that through function programming. Okay, so here, um, this is our program. Okay, normally we'll start with include stdio.h. By the way, stdio.h is what? It's a library function. It is still a function. Time will come that I'll be discussing to you guys how to create that file, that it's file, right? You'll be creating header files also by your own. Okay. So for now, I'll be discussing user defined function, meaning we'll be creating, we'll try to slice the program into two or three or four, and then each slice will tend to do some specific task, right? So again and again, the purpose of slicing the program and making use of function programming is for us to check, to trace the error easily, and try to imagine if you have huge program and you're not slicing it, you're not using function programming, and you have this particular tiny error, you need to go around the entire program for you to see it. But if you slice it out, all right, it would be a lot easier for us to find the problem, the error. Okay, so I did have here two functions. The first function, okay, will evaluate as to how much is the maximum value, right? And then the second function will evaluate the opposite one, how much is the minimum value, right? That's it. And then our program will here in my main function, I tried to declare four numeric variables. Num1, num2 are this num1 and num2 are actually variables for the first value and the second value. And then here, a maximum, actually this is a variable for example, if our function able uh, to have this maximum value, will be storing that value to maximum variable, and same with the minimum variable, right? And then our program will try to ask for the two values. Enter any two values, right? In fact, we can, we can apply the previous video, right? We'll try to let's say for example, instead of saying enter any two numbers, we'll try to make it very specific. We'll say enter first value, enter second value, and then the word first and the second, we'll try to make it as a parameters, and we'll be using functions. That's okay. Now let's do it. All right. So here we'll try to add another function. Please follow my screen. All right. And I'll be needing, I think, 6 parameters in here. Car B, car C, car D, car E, and car F, right? So this is for first, we'll just limit it to 3 to save our time. So we'll have int A, instead of the word first, we'll just 1st, right? Instead of the word second, we'll just 2 in the second, short way of, and then in here we'll try to say enter what, let us say placeholder, right? %D, %C, and %C numbers. Enter first number, right? And then from here we'll be using whatever is the value of A, B, and C. All right, these are actually the the holder of parameters coming from the caller, and I'm going to explain it. And then in here we'll try to we'll change it. Instead of num1, we'll just erase these two. All right, and here num, maximum, minimum. All right, and then we'll add first and second variable. I'm going to explain it later, right? So here, to have this one, we'll try to to erase this. I will try to have this. We'll try to cut this one, and we will create another functions in here. All right, and get value. Are you following? You have int A, car B, car C. This is actually similar to our last video on C function programming, if you can remember, right? And then we'll try to paste this one. All right, so here, so we're following, and then we'll say return the num. All right, return the num. So here, so we have this one, okay, and in here we'll be using sorry, we'll be using first first one, and we'll be calling get value. Right, if you can remember my first video about function programming, sorry, st, right, can you still recall? So will be okay. So here, please follow my screen. I am trying to change the program. Actually, this is not part of my plan in as far as this video is concerned. But when I started taking video, I decided to make it more challenging on your part and on my part, and make it, exciting. Okay. So I have here first now. Okay, that's it. And instead of saying num1, I'll be using the first and the second. Okay, same with here. All right, first and second. Oh, okay. And then I think that's it. We have this one. We'll try. We did try to invoke get value, and while invoking, we tend to bring three parameters: one as an integer value, then s and t as character values, and we pass it to get value because get value is in need of three parameters also. All right, and these three parameters will eventually be used in here to make our program users friendly. So enter first number, enter second number. That's the idea in there. And then whatever value is that will be stored to num, right? And then whatever is the value of num, that will be returned to the calling party. In this particular example, the calling party is first, and the next calling party is second, meaning we are trying to reuse the function twice for getting the value. And since we did it twice, we have to have two variables also, as we need to have two callers. The first caller is first, and the second caller is second as name of the variable. Now, once you have the value for first and second, then we can now use the maximum function. Right? What is this function for maximum? This one, all right? So in here, so the caller of this is maximum variable, right? And we are trying to call max as a function. And while trying to call max, we are bringing two parameters, first and second. Okay? So are you following? So in here, I need to, by the way, yeah, that's correct. So while bringing first and second, the value of first will be stored to num1, and the value of second will be stored to num2, right? So question, Mr. Jonel Hilig, can we use the same variable as, when we are trying to pass parameters? Yes, you can. You can use first in here and you can use second, no problem, because your first here and second is actually a different variables compared to your first in here and your main program. It's two different variables, though they have the same name, but they are not technically the same in terms of their level of usage, right? So in here, when we try to use max, we are passing two parameters, the value for first and second, and that will be received by num1 and num2 respectively. And then we'll try to check if num1 is greater than num2. If that is true, then return num1, meaning the num1 value, which is coming from first variable, right, will be sent to the caller maximum if the condition is true. If false, meaning if num1 is not greater than num2, then num2 has the maximum value, and that num2 will be returned to the maximum or the caller, right? And the second one is minimum variable, and we are trying to use the minimum function. And same with the maximum, we are passing two parameters, first and second, all right? And look at the minimum function in here. We are trying to check if num2 is lesser than num1. Alright? If this is true, then return num2. Num2 has the minimum value. And minimum variable will receive it because the color is minimum. If this is false, then the other way around, num1 has the smaller value. And this num1 will be returned and received by the minimum variable. Simple, right? So, in this particular example, okay, we have how many functions? We have 3 functions, all right? And for the 3 functions, the first function, which is get value, is being used twice. It's being reused. And the second and third function, maximum, is being used once only. All right? So since I decided to do some alterations with my examples, I will try to copy and paste in here. I'm not sure if this program will run, all right? Because when I took this video, I decided to do some changes also. And here, this is the older version of my program, supposedly the basis for my discussion, but I opted to change it and do some, a little bit challenging examples. So here, this is it. We have 3, right, functions, and this is our main functions. And our main functions, just calling all the functions in here, right? And then whatever are the result of this will be displayed by our program. Actually, the display of the minimum and the maximum can be placed on a separate function. We'll do another video for this. All right? We'll do separate video for the display function. Okay. So here. So we'll try to run this program. I hope it will run. No, there's an error. I'm sorry. I will try to check the error. STO. Oh my god. There's in here. I need to, I was not able to change the copy and paste. Alright. In here. Second. I think that's it. We'll try to run it again. Oh, there's still an error. I'm sorry. We'll try to look at first implicit declaration. This is the risk in here. When you change your examples, all right. So here, I need to declare local variable num here. Sorry. I need to declare. You cannot use any variable without declaring first. And this num in here is a local variable and can only be used within the bound of get value function. We'll try to run it again. I hope this is going to be okay. If not again. We'll try to, this is actual programming, right? This is actual programming. We'll look at any errors in here. Car int a, car a. Okay, we'll check it out. Int a, b, c, enter. Okay, int num, percent d, int num, then return num. Alright, return num. We'll go back to the errors. Okay, please follow my screen. We'll try to check the error together. In main function, we have get value. 1 st, right? Okay, I will try to go back at in here. Get value int a, car b, and car c. I think this is correct. We'll just try to, no, there's an extra space in here. All right, so I think this is it. And our program runs. Right, so we'll try to say, for example, 7. All right, so enter first value 7, and then enter second value. Let's say, for example, 8. When you press enter, k, maximum is 8, minimum is 7. I'd love to have this number. Okay, let's see if we can do right. We'll erase this \n here, and we'll try to run it again. Okay, I'm sorry. See here. say for example 7, and the secant is 8, all right? When you press enter K, our program tend to determine the minimum, the maximum value. Look at there. Okay, please follow my screen. Now, the result of enter first number is this. 1 is t and secant 2 and d are actually parameters that are being passed when we call function get value. Okay, I hope you get my point. Okay, this is too technical, but constant exposure to function programming, I tell you, mark my word, you can get it, you can digest it, and eventually you can apply it in your own programming way. Okay, so here 1st and 2nd are actually parameters, right? So if you can remember, when we tried to use get value and the caller variable is first, right? First is equal to get value. First is trying to pass 1st, 1 as an integer value, s and t as character values. And this 1st are being passed on to get value. And look at this get value function. All right, get value functions needs to have int a. Int a means what? This int a will receive 1. All right, numeric value because int a is an integer variable, and this char b will receive character value which is s. Char c will receive character value also which is t. All right, and within the bound of the function, okay, are you following? It get value try to use the parameters that are being received by get value and display it enter first, enter second, right? Okay, are you following? And whatever value that the user is trying to enter, right, that will be stored to num. And this num, in this particular example, 7 is being stored to num, right? Return num meaning return 7 to the calling party. The calling party is first variable. Alright, and the next line is secant is equal to get value. This time the caller is secant, and secant is trying to pass 2 and d as parameters, and of course get value receive it and display enter secant number. Okay, remember secant is actually what? This is actually it is composed of 3 parameters, right? 2, n, and d, right? And then 8 is being entered in here as an example. 8 is being stored to num. Return num means return 8 to the calling party. Then secant as a variable, calling variable, receive it 8, right? Now, since we have the value for first and we have the value for secant, right? In this particular example, first has a value of 7. Secant has a value of 8, right? We are now trying to check as to how much is the maximum value. And we are trying to call max, right? Max function. And the caller of max function is a certain variable named maximum. And while maximum is trying to call max, maximum is passing 2 parameters. The parameter or the value for first and the value for secant. Meaning good as when maximum invoke max function, maximum is trying to bring 7 and 8, right? Because that's the value of first and secant. So this 7 and 8 will be received by function max, and the receiver for 7 is num1 because we have this int num1, and the receiver for 8, right, is num2. What I'm trying to say is whatever is the value of first will be received by num1, and whatever is the value of secant will be received by num2 in this particular example. And within the bound of the function, we are trying to check if num1 is greater than num2. Meaning if your num1 will receive the first, which is 7 in this particular example, and num2 which that receive the value of secant, which is 8, our program asks whether your num1 contains a greater number than num2. Your num1 is how much? 7, and your num2 is 8, meaning this condition is false. So since this condition is false, do not perform this one, but perform this return num2. So return whatever is the value of num2 has a value of 8. So then maximum variable receives 8. Are you following? Now here, minimum is now invoking min function, and the same, it brings first and second, right? And here, look at this minimum min function. Min function receives the value for first and the value for second, and it is now asking whether your num2, all right, is lesser than num1. Now our num2 is 8, if you can recall, and our num2 is our num2 is 8 and our num1 is 7. Is 8 lesser than 7? The condition is false. Do not perform this one, but go jump up and perform return num1, meaning pass num1 to the calling party. Our num1 is 7, and that will be received by minimum. Take note, our maximum is 8 and our minimum is 7. Then our main program display the result. Maximum is whatever is the content of the maximum variable. Printf minimum, whatever is the value of minimum, right? So then it displays maximum 8 and minimum 7, right? So that's it. Remember when I have this video, I have a different example in my mind, but then along the way when I do some actual one, I decided to change the example, make it more complicated. But I hope I was able to share my expertise in programming, especially in function programming. I'm good at this. Okay, so if you have some questions, please do some comment in this particular video. I am so happy to address it. I'll be creating separate video for your concern. Okay, my concern is for you to have a strong foundation in C programming language. Okay, so I'll try another example. What if we'll try to do some reversing 7, right? And then second value is 8. We'll check. Maximum is 8, minimum is 7. Right? So we'll have another example. Let's say for example 988, right? I'm sorry, 988, and then the next example is 760, right? 765. Press enter key. Same thing. Maximum is 988, minimum is 765. Right. So I am hoping that I was able to discuss the technicality of the example, and I was able to share my analysis, all right? And I hope in your part as viewers of this YouTube channel of mine, you're able to understand, to get it, you're able to digest it, and you're able to do some actual programming on your part. Okay, I would like to suggest have your own way of applying the discussions that I have. You can even use the same examples that I'm showing to you. You can do some print screen and include it to your online compiler and run it. All right, and if there's an error, try to double check and go back, edit, run it again. If there's an error, go back again to the compiler, edit something. Same thing that I did in this particular video. There were a lot of errors when I ran because I changed the way the program is supposed to be, and eventually I was able to make the program right, and it runs. Right? So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you find it useful, and my personal appeal to you guys, please click subscribe button or share this video to your friends, to your relatives, even to your classmates who are wanting to learn programming, right? As I always mention in here, if you want to be good in programming, start learning C programming. And this YouTube channel is for me. You can use this as your jump start, right? Starting point for your programming journey. Thank you so much. Goodbye for now. God bless you.